Hi, this is Leigh Ambergy. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Mentor, Ohio, and thank you for joining me today. Today, what I want to share with you is the products, it's new products that I have used making this card. And also what I want to show you is this is with the watercolor pencils and a blender pen. And I'm going to make basically the same layout card, but I am changing up the colors just a little bit. I will have all the products used, the dimensions for this card. It will be listed. It is in my blog. And again, very easy, very basic. So let me show you what we're using that is new. This will be in the new mini coming out in January. And the embellishments are the classic matte dots. That's what I have on here. And that is new. And this is all part of the Blessing of Home, I believe, bundle. So these are the dies that go with it. And we will be using this large die. Cuts out this beautiful cluster of flowers. So we will be using the dies. And this is a bundle, so it saves you 10%. And then the stamp set is the Blessings of Home. Oh, I forgot, I need to take out, have a perfect birthday. So I do need that stamp. And the watercolor pencils, I'm using the assortment number 2. There are 2 watercolor pencil assortments, 1 and 2. So 1 came out first. Those colors came out first, and then the second assortment, it came out second. So let me get a block. Just to make sure that looks straight. But just to, I'm going to stamp it on my work grid. Yep, that looks good. So you know what? I am just going to go ahead, stamp that now. This is basic white, and I'm going to stamp this grading in the bottom right. There we go. Just set that aside. Also with this bundle, there is designer series paper, and this card, I used this design. This one, I'm using this one. Of course, our paper's double-sided, so it has some, on this paper, the one side is kind of a wood grain texture, and the other side are prints. Let me pull some of that out. So this is one side, and the other. We have flowers in that side. This is a larger piece of the flowers and the bees, and again the diagonal. More flowers. And that one. Let's see. I think this is the, yep, this and this side with the it's fresh Friesma is the color for that. And again, this is new product, and it will be in the mini in January. Also the start of celebration. You can earn free product with qualifying purchases. So anyway, back to our card. So I have stamped this in Stays On because I'm using blender pens, and that is a water base. And actually this is thick, basic white. And I have colored the majority of this because I didn't want you to sit here watching me color, because that's really quite boring. But watercolor pencils, if you are not familiar with watercolor pencils, they're activated by water. A lot of people think you have to completely color in your image. You can do that. It will take you forever. But I like to cheat when I do this. I want something that's not going to take me forever. So as you can see, this stamp makes it easy, because this stamp, wherever there was some shading or the tops of the flowers and areas were darker, that's where I just scribble. I just make little scribble marks. Then I let my blender pen do the work for me. So if you're not familiar, this is our blender pen. They come in packs of 3. And yeah, the tips are dirty, but if you just rub it on your work grid or scratch piece of paper to clear the ink out. And then all I do is just take, and where I have put my watercolor pencil, that's where I pull the color from. And it just blends it in so nice. And it actually gives you the look of watercoloring, which if you have never used watercolors, they can be tricky because you always want to start light. You want to, with watercolors, layer your colors. And then I want to show you a trick for shading, because if you keep going over and over and over your paper, because it's not watercolor paper, you will pill. All of your paper will pill. Make sure I have the right color. Cajun craze. Now I want crushed curry. Crushed curry. So I want just a little bit more shading right here. And I mean, I could apply more pencil, but again, I'm working that paper again, and I don't want to do that. So I take my blender pen and just pick up color from my pencil. And I like to just sort of dab and dot. That way, again, I'm not overworking my paper, and it still gives me some shading. I can even bring some more down and through here if I want to add some more shading. And again, I'm done with that color. I'm going to clean this out. So I hold that up a little bit closer, but I think you can see. Now I'm going to work on this center, where again, I have just sort of scribbled my color there. And I'm just a light hand drawing in my color. And again, I can do the same thing. Make sure, yep, I've got Cajun craze. Make sure I grab the right color. And I can go back in and add shading wherever I would want. Because with watercolors and with using the water painters, it's best to go light, because you can always go back in and make it darker. If you start off and you're too dark, there's really not much you can do about it. So that is completely colored. Let me put my pencils away. And then we are going to die cut that. And I have my little Stampin' Boss Mini, because I wanted to show you this, and I didn't die cut it first. I usually, to speed up the process on a video, I usually die cut everything, but I didn't on this. And I'm going to grab a small piece of washi tape just to make sure this doesn't slide on me. Line up my die. It's always helpful if you find one point. So the one point I'm going for are the leaves in the bottom. And then I just sort of shift everything else to go with that. And I'm just going to put a piece of washi tape. Put my other plate on here. This is such a cute little thing. Oops, make sure I get my plate lined up. Small areas. The only thing you have to watch is make sure that your embossing folder, your die, is not wider than this platform. It's just such a cute little thing. Folds up just like the regular stamp cut emboss. Get that out of the way. My plate's out of the way. And there we go. We have that all die cut and ready for our card. So I have stamped my greeting. I have a piece of crushed curry You can tell I need a new, you know, if you need a new blade on your cutters when you get a real fuzzy tear. So I need to replace that. Our designer series paper. So I'm going to apply my adhesive. And this side looks less fuzzy. And I'm just going to try to get this centered on here. Then I'm going to apply this to my basic white. Just want to make sure, okay, this looks like it's a pretty good spot. And that looks straight. My card base is gray granite, and I have folded it in half and burnished it with my bone folder. And I'm going to add the basic white panel to my card base. And then this, I am going to pop up on with some dimensionals. I'm just going to apply those around the outer edge, and put one in the middle. Remove the backing. Yeah, let's see. This way. Yeah, that looks pretty. Okay, and on my one I showed you earlier, on this one, I used the gray. I think on this one, I don't know. Do I want the black? Let's just stick with the gray. We're just going to stick with the gray. And again, the longest thing with me is trying to figure out where in the world I want to put any of my bling or embellishments. So that's it. Easy, simple. And if you have not tried our watercolor pencils and blender pen, you can also use the watercolor pencils with our water painters, different sizes for the tips. They're great. Those really do work best with the watercolor paper, but your watercolor pencils and your blender pen, it will work well on your shimmery white cardstock and too on the thick basic white. So I hope you've enjoyed today's card. Thank you so much for joining in and watching my videos. I appreciate it so much. Have a great one. Bye.